Detroit's HPTV, coming to you out of Detroit, back with another video. As you can see, as you come in the building, my title is Letitia James the first person on the Trump so-called revenge tour? Now, they say that Letitia James has been referred charges for mortgage fraud. Now, ironically, she's being prosecuted or referred for prosecution for some of the same things. Oh, I got a troll already. You're my favorite. Man, I need some moderators, because the trolls come in immediately. I never used to have this many trolls. Now everything I say is offensive to a lot of people. I had a person even text me and get in the comments this morning to say, I'm going to unsubscribe from your channel. Good morning, Joyce. I'm going to unsubscribe from your channel. I disagree with you because you spoke on Charleston White. These people, they don't want you to have an opinion. And it's almost like they think they can hold you hostage by subscribing. You know what I mean? And look, you see I got the troll already. You're my favorite transgender YouTuber. Really? That's what I am? Let's get back to the topic. So anyway, like I was saying, Letitia James led the charge against Trump for, she said that Donald Trump exacerbated the price of his property to get a better deal on the loan. Now, they also said there was no victim, that the banks made their money and there was no actual problem. And if it wouldn't been Trump, the case would have never been even prosecuted. Hey, this said, okay, now Charles said, I'd watch your channel if you're really black, but you're not so black. Do I look black? Do I? Because at the end of the day, black people seem to be becoming more and more of each other's problems. We always talking about racism and bigotry and prejudice, but a lot of y'all are some of the biggest racists and bigots. Y'all even say on the left that y'all inclusive of transgenders and the LGBT community, but soon as y'all get upset with somebody, you threaten them and accuse them of being that. So you want to offend me by accusing me of being a part of a community that you support? That's weird. That's weird. But the trolls is crazy. Now, let's get back to this story, because a lot of people thinking that as black people, you see how the person is questioning my blackness all of a sudden? 59 years, born and raised in Detroit, and nobody has ever questioned my blackness. But because I disagree, it's a problem. Now I got somebody named Suge Knight say, why you snitch on the homies? What homies? What homies is you talking about? Surely there has to be some names to these homies. But I digress. Now, again, you starting to see that people want you to take a side. They want you to be so Trump deranged, so anti-white, that you can't see the irony. Let me see. Yeah, they can't see the irony of this lady now being prosecuted for the same things that she went after Trump for. Now, we have a tendency to always deal with identity politics. I'm looking at these comments, they being crazy. But we identify with identity politics. If somebody is black, then we automatically supposed to vote for them? That's what's been wrong with our communities and destroying our communities forever. Because you vote for these black faces and put them in high places, and they worse than the people that you claim to be oppressing you. They the worst type of overseers. Because they have a sense of entitlement and self-righteousness and virtue signaling, while at the same time, crime victimhood. So at some point, we have to choose what we're going to struggle with. You want to struggle against racism when it's capitalism and your economic situation that got you oppressed. And you keep following these people who claim to be your so-called leadership that you vote in, and they keep turning out to be corrupt. Suge Knight say, you snitched on Daryl. I don't even know nobody named Daryl. Sorry, Suge. But it's insane. Somebody say, we did not create identity politics, and the people you claim to support use it the most. Come on, man. What are you on? Who do I support? I support my family, my grandkids, my community. Who do I support? Because you don't like what I'm saying, that makes me what? A race traitor, or I can't be black. You done took my black card back? Because I can clearly see that these people have been used as attack dogs for the left against Trump and the conservatives, but they keep getting caught doing the same things. That's crazy. It seemed like if you were going after somebody as powerful as a man like Trump, you would have your T's crossed and your I's dotted. You wouldn't have this situation to where somebody is coming back about to prosecute you for the same thing that you prosecuted them for. Another one says, why aren't you being used by Trump? I don't even know what that means. I don't even know what that means. So these can't be my regular subscribers that's chiming in this morning. These is like bots. These got to be bots, because I've never seen these people in my chats before to even be so hostile and have so much animus about politics. It got to be bots, because Suge Knight and the other guy, they probably don't even know who Letitia James is. That's just like when the left be screaming fascism and Nazism. Most of the people don't even know what fascism is. And look at Suge Knight, he said, stop snitching. Snitching on who? I'm a civilian. I'm a civilian. You want the community to be in chaos. You want to see people destroyed. That stop snitching been played out, because every time one of you so-called gangsters go to jail, the first thing y'all do is snitch. From Nicky Barnes to Frank Lucas to you name it. All you gangsters snitch when you go to jail. You start snitching as soon as you're in the police car. So what does that even mean? That's another fake narrative. That's another fake narrative. All you got to do is watch first 48. Y'all all tell. And then you're going to call somebody that's a civilian a snitch? Let's get off into the story. I'm going to get back with Suge Knight if he stay in this chat. But first, let's listen to what happened here.
If you're 55 or over, did you know you could leave your loved ones with an inheritance of up to $3?
This morning, a federal agency is asking the Department of Justice to investigate New York Attorney General Letitia James. The criminal referral filed by the Federal Housing Finance Agency accuses James of lying on mortgage paperwork to get better rates. News 10 NBC's Haley Higgins has been looking into this. Haley, walk us through these accusations.
Yelena, there are 3 accusations in total. But before we dig in, I want to be clear, these are not charges yet, just a request for the Department of Justice to look through the paperwork and see if there's a case. The first accusation occurred in 1983. It alleges that James, 24 at the time, signed documents stating she was married to her father to get a mortgage. Discriminating against unmarried women had been legally banned 9 years prior to this. The second accusation is in 2001, when the FHFA says James described a 5-unit apartment as a 4-unit to get a specific government loan. The third, in 2023, says James bought a house in Virginia and said it would be her primary residence to get better rates. State laws demand James mostly live in New York, so this should have been considered a secondary home. And James bought that Virginia home months prior to bringing a civil suit against President Trump for fraud. That suit alleged he inflated the value of his properties to get better loans. The FHFA, the agency highlighting this, is responsible for supervising federal loans. FHFA Director William Polt was appointed by President Trump and sworn in last month. We reached out to the Attorney General's office for comment. A spokesperson said this referral was, quote, weaponizing the federal government and a bullying tactic.
Thank you, Haley. Turning to the referral now, how common are these criminal referrals?
Our affiliate in Buffalo actually spoke with the former New York Attorney General, who said they happen frequently. It's just a recommendation to a prosecuting body. But former AG Dennis Vacco did highlight, though, they're usually not released publicly, and they don't come out unless the charges are filed.
All right, Haley. Thank you.
Okay, so that's one story on it. Oh, look, Suge Knight say, pay the homies what you owe, or you'll be knocking on heaven's door, homie. Y'all see me getting threatened? I'm getting threatened in the comments. YouTube, y'all letting people threaten me? He said I'm be knocking on heaven's door. I'm 59 years old. I'm already knocking on heaven's door. How about that? What about you? Huh? Knocking on heaven's door? Man, this is a dumb troll or a bot. They just making up stuff. He owes money. Man, and then they're holding a lot of views. This the first time since I've been blogging, I've had this many trolls and this much hate. I know it's bots. Homie snitching to YouTube. You already on YouTube making threats. Duh. Who are you? You must be a drill rapper or somebody. You get on here and start telling on yourself, then say somebody else snitching. Okay, we're gonna listen to Melanie King. Melanie King had a take on this. But
did you know that women are generating recurring royalties?
If y'all are familiar with Letitia James, she ran her whole campaign on she was gonna get Trump. That's what she ran it on. So because it didn't work and the lawfare didn't work, they want you to feel that if Trump investigates them, it's retaliatory or it's revenge. But if you didn't break the law, you don't got to worry about that. You don't got to worry about that. If you didn't break the law, all this you've been seeing going on with the protests and everything out here that's got the country divided is over an audit. Think about that, an audit. So people don't want to be found out and they willing to do anything, drag anybody down so that they can't be found out. I'm just saying, because some people think that it is karma for the people that wage lawfare. Somebody say, yo, are you talking about Canadian politics or American politics? First of all, Letitia James is the Attorney General for New York. And Donald Trump is the president-elect for the United States. So I don't really think that I've mentioned Canada thus far. You know what I mean? And by me being for Detroit, Canada politics really is nothing interesting to me. It's right across the bridge. But let's listen to what Melanie King has to say.
We want to let the powerful write their own rules, while the rest. Let me ask you something. How many times are we going to let the powerful write their own rules, while the rest of us get dragged through the mud for far less? Because today, we're talking about something absolutely outrageous. New York Attorney General Letitia James just brushed off allegations of mortgage fraud tied to the Trump administration as, quote, baseless. Baseless? No, I don't care which side of the aisle you fall on. This kind of selective outrage and political shielding should piss everyone off. And trust me, by the end of this article, you're going to see exactly why the statement deserves to be called out for what it really is, a pathetic excuse. Let's get into it. New York Attorney General Letitia James calls Trump admin allegations of mortgage fraud baseless. Now, this is an interview, guys. Wait till you get a hold of this. New York State Attorney General Letitia James said in a new interview that the Trump administration's criminal referral of her for mortgage fraud is baseless, but declined to give details. I wonder why. James appeared on Spectrum New York One's Inside City Hall Thursday, attempting to swat down allegations from the Trump administration that she falsified real estate records in Virginia and New York. Let me just say to all New Yorkers and to all Americans, the allegations are baseless. Wait, should I do her voice? Let's do her voice, right? Let me say to all New Yorkers and to all Americans, the allegations are baseless. The allegations are nothing more than a revenge tour. Doesn't she talk like some supervillain in a Batman movie? Like, she sounds like the evil mayor of Gotham or something. Like, it's like she's always trying to act or put on a facade of this role. It's so bizarre. Anyway, she told this to New York One political anchor Errol Lewis. So Letitia James, the same attorney general who went scorched earth in her civil case against Trump for financial misrepresentation, is now saying that this is baseless? Sure, sis, we believe you. Now, let's continue.
I got a question. And if any of you follow me, think about this question. What made black women the go-to frontline people to attack Trump and the enemies of the Democratic Party? Why did they pick black women? Why did they pick Jasmine Crockett, Letitia James, Fannie Willis? Why did they put these black women on the front line as the mouthpiece, spokesperson for not only the Democratic Party, but the black community? Y'all don't see, I mean, like, there's no men that can go this hard at Trump. You have these black women that's going hard against Trump than they've ever went at anybody. But they forgot when Trump went to court with Michael Jackson every day, when Trump flew Jennifer Hudson's family to Trump Towers after the tragedy with her family, or when Trump was actually giving Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson money for their organizations, or when Trump was going to see Mike Tyson in prison, or when all the rappers was putting Trump's name in rap songs. Or how about when he signed the First Step Act that let so many men out of prison who Joe Biden had put in prison with the 94 crime bill? What about how he gave the continuous money to the HBCUs? I want to know, in my mind, what makes them have so much animus and hostility toward Trump when it was Joe Biden talking about we were super predators, that we needed to be brought to heel, that if we went to schools, that we would be turning the school system into racial jungles. He said if we don't vote for him, we ain't black. He was good friends with Strom Thurmond. It's almost like a lot of y'all got Stockholm syndrome. Y'all want to say that conservative people are the ones who are the bootlicks, but y'all over there on the Democratic Party plantation is the real bootlicks. Don't you remember how I told you the Democrats were so mad about losing their slaves that they took Abraham Lincoln's life? Then they created the Ku Klux Klan. Then they created Jim Crow and redlining. But you mad at the right? It was one fool that got in my comments and said that Harriet Tubman would have been riding with Kamala Harris. Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass was one of the first two people with the abolitionists to actually form the Republican Party, the anti-slavery movement. So you mean to tell me that you don't know enough about history, that you still think that the Democrats is the people that you should be following? Really? That makes no sense. Then, a lot, like I told you, people was trolling and saying that they don't like my opinion. You don't like my opinion? That's what's going to make you unsubscribe. Unsubscribe. Move around. You got to move around and find some opinions or people that think like you think. That's what YouTube is good for. Multiple personalities, multiple takes on things, a lot of different dialogue or whatever. But what I'm talking about is, why do black people want to rally with corrupt black people that's been dogging them out? Think about that. You more mad at Elon Musk for finding the waste and the fraud than you are about the people that did it. You more mad at me addressing and calling out the obvious than you are at the people that's getting rich off your pain and suffering, that's playing with your mentality. You can see the mentality of the trolls. Look at how the trolls talk. I bet George praises Diddy. I don't even know what they're talking about. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right, King Hazy. They shadow ban you. Then they send bots at you. They even remove your subscribers and all that just to keep you speaking in one tone, in one voice. And the voice that they want you to speak don't even make sense. You want to, I don't even see where it's going, to just keep rabble-rousing and keep getting people in their feelings. They're not going to do anything. They showed you that when they had the protests all over the country. Black people didn't even show up. They were out there with signs saying, take your hands off my Social Security check, and it turned into nothing. Turns into nothing. Because, like I said, these people, they live in an echo chamber. And it's something wrong with their minds, to the point to where they don't see that they got Stockholm syndrome. Did y'all seen in this chat, a guy even got on this chat and said, I'm not black. I don't know how to even take that. What does that mean? Do that entitle me to some type of new benefit that I haven't been getting? What does that mean? That mean I can't go to the ghetto? I got my ghetto pass revoked. I can't go in the hood. Really? Y'all is weird. Y'all, a lot of y'all is weird if y'all can't see that you being played. You're being played on the left. This lady know they got a paper trail on her. She knows that they're finna be under investigation, all of them. That's why they screaming bloody murder. You didn't hear what Maxine Waters said on the interview with CNN? She said, we don't know how much they have gotten on us. We don't know what they got on us. We don't know how much information that they got on us. So we got to murk the waters. We got to tell them it's racism. So when they come for us, it looks like retaliation and retribution, but really, we just got caught with our hands in a cookie jar. We just got our hypocrisy exposed. But don't worry about the black community. They so slow. All they know what to do is to listen to us. Barack Obama made them definitely loyal to the Democratic Party. When they put Barry Soetoro in front of you and paraded him around as the first black man or African-American president, when all the time he was a puppet to lull you back to sleep and to keep you loyal to that Democratic Party. Let's listen to more of what Melanie's saying. And I'm going to show you with TD Media Group. So if y'all don't like conservative views, you might as well go on and move around, because that's what I'm gonna be playing today. I'm trying to show you that not everybody thinks in the same bubble that you or most people are trapped in on the left. We can see through the charade. We can see through the smoke and mirrors that these people are just as corrupt as the people they're accusing of corruption. And it's all to our detriment. You think about this. This is Easter weekend. Now wrap your mind around this. This is Easter weekend. One of the major days in Christendom, right? How many of y'all know that under the Biden administration, they passed a bill that virtually outlaws the whole New Testament? Did y'all know that? There's a House bill to where you can't say who crucified Christ, because that'll be anti-Semitism. So if you can't talk about the crucifixion and the resurrection, then what is you even celebrating Easter for? You got one guy saying, I'm confused. Tell me what I'm confused about. Am I confused about Letitia James being prosecuted? Am I confused about the Democratic Party being the party that fought to uphold slavery, create the Ku Klux Klan, and redlining, and Jim Crow? Or am I confused about the fact that the House bill banned speaking about the crucifixion of Christ? Tell me what I'm confused about. Tell me what I'm confused about. Because anything I'm saying can be easily researched. Get your iPad or iPhone and fact check me. Fact check me live. Because I just want you to look at another perspective. Stop being played. Stop being so simple-minded. You know what I mean? You talk about, like, it was people telling me that they siding with the Carmelo Anthony case just because he's black, because they feel some type of hostility for white people, and they feel like that was a victory for them. That's how warped the mind is. That's how warped their mind is. That a team can unalive another team, and because there's a racial component, people pick sides. Nobody looks at it and say, this is a problem that this country has with violence. We have a problem with these young people, period. Let's known they're racist parents or they bigoted parents. Do you understand what I'm saying? Look outside the box. Stop being so confused about right and wrong. You people is confused, a lot of y'all, about right and wrong. You want to act as if you don't know right from wrong, but you do. That's the hypocrisy of it all. That's the hypocrisy. I get on here and I tell these stories and I show you from my either computer or my tablet what I'm looking at. And you can go fact check me live, but you would rather attack me and attack my character with ad hominem attacks versus challenging my facts. Starts challenging my facts. Because then we'll have a discussion. Then the chat will be productive. But I know that there's a lot of weird people in this society, and they live to get. Look, you got somebody say Trump made life hard for America inside and outside the country. Okay, when? In the last 4 months? In the last 4 months. But you know, realistically, I like all these trolls because it shows me on a whole nother level how warped and sick our people are. You had a guy actually get on in the comments and threaten me and then say you snitching to YouTube. Listen, YouTube blocks me for saying anything threatening or intimidating. So how come they let you do it? That's the one I'm saying. How come they didn't catch your comment? That's what made me think you a bot. That's what made me think you a bot. And the fact that you really don't have any position on the subject matter as other than emotionalism. You just emotional. You probably mad at your boss, probably mad at your woman. You mad at somebody. So all they got to do is parade a white person in front of you and say they did this, and now you ready. Somebody say, why do you hate the Constitution? Hate the Constitution? I don't think I said I hated the Constitution. I'm gonna have to play it back and see. Dude just say stuff and then say, nah, I'm right. Who is, this is weird. This is weird. Every day since I've been going live, my comments have gotten weirder and weirder and stranger. For real. It's like they sent them. Because how y'all up this Saturday morning and you say you don't like my channel, you don't like me, how you up early Saturday morning in the comments trolling? You don't got nothing better to do? You ain't got no cars to go key. You know what I mean? You ain't got nobody's clothes to slash. You don't got no other kind of broad type stuff you could do. Let's finish listening to Melody King.
When pressed about the number of units in her Brooklyn home, referring to the federal allegation that the AG illegally listed the home as having 4 units instead of 5, James held her cards close to the vest. As you know, as any good attorney, I will not. Okay, wait, I won't do the voice. I won't torture you. As you know, as any good attorney, I will not litigate this case in a camera. It is important that we respond to these allegations at the appropriate time and in the appropriate way, she said. Really? That's amazing because you wanted to litigate Trump's case in front of the camera. I mean, even before you were elected into office, that's what you ran on, locking him up, calling him a criminal. Like, this is what you ran on over and over. You did press conferences about the case. But now when it comes to your stuff, to your illegal dealings, well, I don't want to speak about that right now. Sure. I will not go back and forth with respect to these baseless allegations. I'm more focused, again, on standing up for freedom, liberties, and the rule of law in the state of New York. Like, is she...
Now, the weird part about this is, y'all never even heard about Letitia James until she ran on opposing Trump. Okay. Now, we already know there's this high level of Trump derangement syndrome. And we got to get to the root of it. We got to get to the root of it. To why the black community is so loyal to the Democratic Party. The Democrats. Y'all are so loyal to a party that only thing they offered you was late-term termination of pregnancy, gender reassignment for your children, open borders, censorship of the Bible and any conservative voices. And y'all loyal to that and condemn somebody who can show you the hypocrisy and show you that the right and the left are two wings of the same bird. You don't understand that? And I just want to know, where does the animus come from when somebody has a different opinion? Somebody say, but I'm arguing for Trump. I'm arguing for Trump. Trump has lawyers. Trump has lawyers that do that bidding. I don't have to argue for Trump. His lawyer, didn't he win? I'm just saying, didn't he win the popular vote? He don't need me to argue for him. I'm arguing against the ignorance that we use when we view things. I'm arguing against the division in our own community about politics when most people are ill-informed about politics and what politics really are. You have corrupt politicians that you follow and will defend, but you won't even defend your communities. You won't even defend your religion. You won't even defend your children to this degree. Think about it. I'm looking at the comments. And somebody said, you've ignorant yourself, and laughed. You've ignorant yourself, and laughed. Y'all see that comment? You've ignorant yourself. Now you tell me, how ignorant is that? Is that a bot or just a dumb person? I don't know. I don't know. I've ignorant myself. Smiling emoji. Let's look at what TD Media Group has to say.
Stop using ChatGPT like everyone else and do this instead. To the men over 50 who don't know how to use AI.
That's crazy. He said, you ignorant yourself, and laughed. I ignorant myself.
Especially as this administration.
Wow.
The Trump administration accused.
Did y'all see what I'm talking about? Did y'all see that statement? The guy said, you ignorant yourself, and laughed and put a smile emoji. The other weirdo said, I got on makeup. I don't know. That's probably they call me black. I don't know. It's just skin. You know what I mean? It's just skin. Somebody say, I don't know if they talking to me or say in the comments, you've been lost your whole life. Oh, well, you know, I've been lost my whole life. So if you're talking about me, tomorrow's Easter and that's what redemption is about. So maybe I can get found. How about that? Pray for me. How about that? Can you pray for me? If that's how you really feel? Or do you hate the fact that I'm telling you the truth? You hate the fact that I got a voice? Oh, and I know you hate Trump. Let me show you some pictures of Trump. Here.
New York Attorney General Letitia James of mortgage fraud. They've made a criminal referral to the Justice Department seeking federal prosecution. The Attorney General's office responded saying this: Attorney General James is focused every single day on protecting New Yorkers, especially as this administration weaponizes the federal government against the rule of law and the Constitution. She will not be intimidated by bullies, no matter who they...
Now, ain't that some hypocrisy? They saying to somebody else, they saying that Trump has weaponized the judicial system, as if we didn't just witness the judicial system under Joe Biden in full weapon mode. But I guess you don't like the man so much that it was okay to do him dirty. And now these hypocrites is saying the same thing. Somebody's weaponizing the judicial system. Y'all remember Biden said that's why he pardoned his son, because he said the judicial system was weaponized. So now that she's been caught in the same type of corruption that she's been exposing, It's a problem. Oh, I know what it is. It's racism, it's misogyny, and whatever else kind of expersion you can say. People say they miss Biden. No, y'all don't. No, y'all don't. Y'all just thoroughly brainwashed.
Andrew Cherkowski joins me now. Is Trump playing his own form of lawfare in New York?
Well, I think they say people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones.
Right.
It's beyond ironic that the allegations that she's now facing stem from the exact same types of mortgage fraud or loan type fraud that Trump went through that incredible civil trial on, where he defended himself and he said that those banks and those financial institutions that he dealt with had acknowledged and had their own fair opportunity to look into and do their research. The allegations against Letitia James are not quite as friendly to her, and they look quite damning. Now, the DOJ is going to start their investigation. That's going to take some time. I don't know how many resources they're going to put behind that, but if these allegations that are being put forth turn out to be true, she is going to be facing the same sort of bankruptcy and turning over of her assets to the state that Donald Trump had to through that trial.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you all for joining me today.
Now, that's what I wanted to show you. I wanted to show you the hypocrisy on the left and on the right. But you can't wrap your mind around anything other than the race baiting. You can't wrap your mind around the fact that you've been duped. You've been betrayed. And now, of course, she's going to scream racism. You know, I wonder, when can the black community come together and say we don't like the violence in our community on a daily basis? That's what I want to know. When can we, as a collective community, come together and say we don't like any violence that's taking the lives of our young people as a collective? Where's our leadership that's going to say that? That's all I'm saying. When are we going to come together, put our differences aside, and say we want to change the trajectory of our communities and our young people? Where's that agenda? Y'all say y'all believe the children are the future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Look at your future. Look at your future. That's all I want to know. If we can protest and we can get this emotional about politicians, why we can't do this about the violence and the tragedies in our own community? When are we going to get outraged about that? When are we going to have any leadership that doesn't step out in front and say, we're going to make saving your children a priority? But in our community, we have people terminating their pregnancy left and right, and young people exterminating each other left and right. But there's no outrage about that. You know, y'all want to say that it's racism, but when y'all go to the gas station or to the store, who do you worry about robbing you or carjacking you? Who do you worry about carjacking you? Who do you worry about robbing you? Is it a conservative, somebody in a MAGA hat? Is you looking over your shoulder for somebody in a MAGA hat? Really? But have you noticed when I get to talking like this, how the trolls, they go away? Because just that one statement, when will you be upset, angry, or outraged about the violence and chaos and tragedy every day that you see in your own community? You walk past that. You walk past the homeless people. You walk past the veterans. But then you get emotionally attached to somebody, You don't even know. And you want to get out there on the front line and be talking. That's how I know that most of y'all just got Twitter fingers. You sit behind the screen and you cowards. You're not really out here in this. You're not living a real life. You live in some type of superficial robot life where you back to work, back home, or whatever it is that you do, because you're not looking at the real problem. These politicians are getting rich. Somebody say, Moon, they are homeless for a reason. I guess so, but I'm saying, what if they're homeless because the factory closed down and they lost? I mean, that's not even debatable, because you could be homeless tomorrow. You understand that? You could be homeless tomorrow. You could be in a wheelchair tomorrow. You could be up under the dirt tomorrow. So count your blessings for the day. Don't waste your blessings trolling. You wasting your day trolling me? And you was blessed to wake up this morning? You was blessed not to be homeless, blessed not to be in a wheelchair? And you wasting your whole morning trolling me? When I'm telling you that you being played for a fool, and you letting somebody play with your emotions and give you misinformation, and then if somebody shows you the truth, you despise them for it. Somebody said, go back to school, sir. For what? Already been. And then you didn't see the education bill. They say America pays more for students to go to school than any other country, but are dead last in academics. Dead last. So why should I go to school when it's gonna still keep me dead last? Huh? Y'all got a problem with Trump closing the board of education? I don't understand it. When the school is producing people that can't read on their grade level and can't do math on their grade level. So that's a no-brainer. That's another troll red herring that you just throw out there. Go back to school, sir. Why? Why don't you, instead of ad hominem attacks, put your education and your information in the chat that's positive, and maybe you can help somebody, even if you feel I'm irredeemable. You might can help somebody else. Wouldn't that be a better use of your time and your wisdom? He say, we can't write, dude, you're a fool. You are being played by propaganda ignorance. Who is giving me the propaganda? I don't need nobody giving me my own no propaganda. I got the iPad right here. I got a few books. You know what I mean? I got to discern the eye and the sober mind. I can go out there and get my own information. I can go out there and get my own information. Don't you see that this whole podcast is what? Acapella? I'm doing it acapella. No special guest appearances, no flashing shrills and frills. You getting it, you getting my opinion. My opinion. Ain't that what you logged on for? If you logged on to hear my opinion and to see the chats, then cool. But if you logged on just to troll, you wasting your time over here. You can go find a big platform to troll on. Go find a big one. You know what I mean? With hundreds and thousands of subscribers, and get in that chat and duke it out. I'm telling you that you've been hoodwinked, bamboozled, run amok, led astray. You remember what movie that came from? Ironically, Malcolm told you about the liberals. So did King before his untimely demise. Oh, somebody said, I didn't log on till you came up in my feed. Well, good. Maybe you need to hear this to get your mind right. Somebody say, bro, you just got it figured out. These comments now are so crazy. I don't know if I'm being dissed, applauded. You know what I mean? I can't even figure it out. You know, if I'm being hated on, embraced, loved, but it don't matter. Somebody said, debate me. Debate you for what? And about what? What I'm debate you about? I can debate you about being almost 60 years old and seeing this actual society turn on its head over the last several decades. Tell you what it's like to see children born, lose siblings, to get old in this country, and see young people so disrespectful that they don't even have a care for their own lives. These young people that I'm seeing now don't even care about their own lives. And that's not a problem. And look, the people saying young people have no future. So you think about me as a grandfather looking at where this is going, because they're not making the new prison cells for me. I'm 59 years old. They're not planning to control me in the future. These traps are being put out there to ensnare your children. And you won't give them the right information, because I'm starting to see that a lot of these parents are worse than their children. For real. A lot of these parents are giving birth to the savagery and brutality that you see in the community. But you don't want to talk about that. You don't want to talk about that. That a lot of these parents are breeding these violent, savage young people in our own community. And it amazes me that we get so outraged by petty things and we're so easily misled. Easily misled. Y'all let Kamala Harris come out here and tell y'all that she was a black woman after she had been Indian her whole damn life. But you went for it. And anybody that didn't go for it, you said was racist and misogynist, because we didn't believe a lie. And we knew that cackling, laughing lunatic would have led this country into the abyss. And then a lot of y'all say y'all hate America, y'all hate the country, or what. You won't leave, you won't fight. So what you gonna do? You ain't gonna fight. You're not gonna get out here and put in no work, and then you're not gonna leave. So you're like a bitter old broad, just sit somewhere hating, ain't gonna put in no work. Not even to save your children. You won't even do nothing to save your children. I'm thinking that a lot of y'all don't even love your children because you don't care about them as much as you care about identity politics and keeping up with the status quo. You care more about that. Yeah, I'm looking at these chats. What if they don't got children? If you don't got children, somebody got children. Care about these children. Embrace them all. Embrace black children. But you can't, because what? You don't like them? Y'all don't like black children, do y'all? Y'all like your own. But y'all don't care nothing about your neighbor's kids. Y'all don't care nothing about the kids around the corner. Just think about it. In Detroit, last month in the wintertime, 2 children lost their lives due to homelessness. 2 children. What did they do to deserve losing their life? I knew you didn't like children when y'all was gonna let them people passed that bill for gender reaffirming care and transgender children in elementary school. And then, of course, to terminate a pregnancy at 8 months is demonic. And y'all was going to vote for that. At 8 months, that's demonic. But you care about, you know, if somebody offend your favorite politician or your favorite singer or whatever. But y'all don't care about the children. Y'all don't care about none of that. That's why I keep showing you these stories about these fake politicians that y'all vote in office. Y'all want to get behind because they got the same skin tone as you. Y'all forgot, y'all was just mad at Letitia James because she wouldn't prosecute those corrections officers that took that black man's life in that jail. Y'all was just mad at her about that. But how quickly we forget. How quickly we forget. Well, this is all I'm going to have for y'all on this Saturday. I don't know, I might get back on here later. And if I don't, y'all enjoy your Easter holiday. Oh, let me tell you this and drop this on y'all before I go. I was watching the news this morning and they said that people is mad that they can't afford Easter eggs to die. You know, they want to dye the Easter eggs and, you know, and that's very important. Easter bunnies and Easter eggs and the vernal equinox and all that to celebrate the resurrection. You need, what part of painting eggs, different colors, and having Easter bunnies, what part of that got to do with Christ? You're right, both sides can cherry pick experiences. You know what I mean? But to me, I'm just thinking that as a collective, we got our priorities out of order. Because since all this, the whole election cycle and what's been going on, guess what has not stopped one bit? Young black men destroying each other's lives on these streets in Detroit, Chicago, New York, and all over the country. Chicago, under Brandon Johnson, is the unalive M capital of the country. You got black mayors with a black police force in a black community, and guess what it is? The unalive M capital of the country. And when you go to every other black city, they right behind them. Then you leave Chicago, you go to Detroit. Then you go to New York, and you go to these places, and you see, if it ain't our people taking each other out, it's the drugs, it's despair, it's the system. But we not even gonna talk about that, huh? Because I know it offends your narrative. That's why you mad at me. And somebody say, go back to Africa. I ain't never been to Africa. Ironically, I don't have no African ancestors. How about that? I told y'all my grandmother died at 96 and her grandfather died at 102. I have no illusions about who and what I am. And African ain't it. So put that in your peace pipe and smoke it. You know what I mean? Put that in your peace pipe and smoke it. Go back to Africa. I ain't never been to Africa. What you mean go back? Oh, you one of them guys that want to talk about how we built the pyramids and the greatness of our race and our communities, huh? But we can't even get a doghouse built in our community right now. So what's wrong with us now? That we can't get nothing done. But you get in here, oh, and then they be dropping, man, I'm not even gonna start on you ones with the religious dogma. Because your hypocrisy is what got the whole community in a shambles. listening to you on Easter Sunday past that collection plate, and you won't speak against termination of pregnancy. You won't speak against the violence in your own community. Preacher won't speak on none of that. He ain't got nothing but a prosperity teaching. He say, but a Republican told you to go back to Africa, brother. First of all, ain't nobody never told me to go back to Africa until today. And you did that. And I'm telling you, like, if it was a Republican that said that, I would have to say, I've never been to Africa. Neither have my grandparents, neither have theirs. Do I look African? Maybe y'all thought I was African or whatever, and that's why that person said I had on makeup or something. I don't understand it. He said, but a Republican told you to go back. I wouldn't give a damn what no Republican, Democrat, Independent, Boy Scout, Navy SEAL. I don't care what nobody say as it relates to me. I'm grown. You don't get it. You don't get it. Y'all just don't like what I'm saying. And for the life of me, I don't understand how you won't prioritize your children, your families, and your communities. Somebody has got you to the point to where you don't even think that that's necessary or an option. So I guess my little speech is falling on deaf ears. But before I go in passing, why don't y'all find out why Easter eggs and bunnies is wrapped up in the crucifixion of Christ? Somebody say Moors weren't in America, guy. I don't know. But yeah, we got things that's interesting right in our face we don't never question. But they was on there telling people, oh, it's a shortage of eggs. Since you can't buy eggs, buy these chocolate ones and buy this candy one over here to celebrate Easter Sunday. Wow. So we got all these rituals and we make all these sacrifices. I believe some of y'all worshiping the devil. I'm going to end on that note. Y'all got all the rituals, all the sacrifices, all the hatred, all the anger. I think maybe some of y'all might be worshiping the devil on the low. So on that note, this Detroit's HPTV signing to you out of Detroit. As always, salute to all patriots, and y'all keep y'all head on the swivel. Like, share, and subscribe if you're not a hater. Peace.